Hey guys, welcome back to You the Boss podcast, episode 100. Before we get started on this week's episode, I wanted to just give you all a thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back week after week. Thank you for the YouTube support. Thank you for the Instagram support. Thank you for sharing the reels, for sharing the quotes, for messaging me and just saying different things. 100 episodes is a really big deal. I am a solo podcaster. I have done some interviews in the past, but for the most part, every episode is just me talking to you guys. And I want to give back that feedback to you. That's what keeps me coming back week by week. It is that feedback. It is that, oh my gosh, you said this on your podcast and etc. And it means a lot to me that you listen. It means a lot to me that you share these episodes with other people and that other people listen and they get back, feedback from the episodes. So thank you so much. Again, this is our 100th episode and I'm so excited to keep sharing with you guys and creating more magic. Today we're going to talk about something a lot of people avoid hearing, and that's that your future self cannot be built with your current habits. A lot of us want transformation without transition. We want confidence without discomfort, discipline without consistency, healing without honesty, success without changing the routines that keep us stuck. I feel that can be a little bit heavy, so I want to give you a moment to digest that. But I also want to have this be your reminder that you need to boss up. Every version of you is created by repeated behavior. That person that you want to become, they think differently. They do. And it's not a super obvious transition when they start to think differently, but it is a transition. They think differently. They protect their time differently. They speak to themselves differently. They move differently. And it doesn't happen overnight. The biggest mistake people make is waiting to feel like the future version of themselves before they start acting like them. Identity doesn't appear first. Repetition does. You don't become confident and then start showing up. You show up repeatedly and confidence is built on that reward. The example that I like to use is if you want to become healthier, you want to become more grounded, more successful, more emotionally mature, more disciplined, your habits have to reflect that before your results do. Habits are evidence of identity. Every day that you either reinforce that you're the person who keeps promises to themselves or you're the person who quits when things get uncomfortable. And you keep doing that to yourself. That sounds a little bit harsh. So I don't want you to focus on the harshness of it. I want you to focus on the empowering part of it, because that means that change is possible at any time. Your life is not built in giant breakthrough moments. It's built in ordinary decisions repeated consistently. The way you wake up, the way you handle stress, the things you consume online, the conversations, the excuses that you repeat, the routines that you protect, those things shape your identity more than motivation ever will. A lot of people are attached to old versions of themselves because they're familiar, even if those habits are draining them. Sometimes we say that we want growth, but we still cling on to the procrastination, the chaos, the inconsistency, the toxic environments, the negative self-talk, the staying comfortable. You hang on to your circumstances. Listen, I've been there. You hang on to the fact that right now you're in a difficult season of your life, whether that's, oh, well, I have young kids and it's just a lot. And, you can't always do things because you have small kids. Oh, you know, I have a sick parent. You don't understand. It's like having a kid at home. And you stay stuck to those circumstances. You cannot become someone new while feeding the behaviors that keep you the same. Period. This is the part that people don't talk about enough. Self-respect is built through discipline. So when you choose to stay in that chaos or stay in that inconsistency or stay under your circumstances as opposed to rising above them, you're creating disrespect to yourself. Every time you follow through on something that you said you would do, even if it's something small, You build trust with yourself. Once you do that, that trust matters. Because when you stop trusting yourself, you start doubting everything. You start to look at maybe your goals, your abilities, your potential, your future. But every small act of discipline repairs the relationship. So that's drinking water instead of soda, going to the workout, logging off social media when you said you would, getting up a little bit earlier, not necessarily to jump out of bed and do whatever, but just to lay there and listen to your breathing and consume that part of yourself. It's keeping your word to yourself. Those little things, they might seem small. They may seem like they're something that doesn't really matter, but they change your identity over time. And no, they're not perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to miss a day. You're going to have off days. You're going to fall back into old patterns sometimes. That's the point. Growth is not meant to be flawless. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about returning back to yourself, to that alignment faster. The future version of you is not waiting for perfect conditions. They're built through consistent choices and imperfect seasons. You don't need a complete life overhaul tonight. You don't need to take the next 7 days and run 3 miles every single day when you haven't ran half a mile in years. You need to ask, what version of me do I admire most consistently? Then start practicing that person one habit at a time. Eventually, repetition becomes identity. And one day you'll realize that you're no longer trying to become that version of yourself. You're already living as them. I want to encourage you to consistently look for the proof of the version of you that you have fought to become to this point. Not everything is meant about changing everything, and you shouldn't always be chasing a quote unquote future version of yourself. You should also become very comfortable with the person that you are right now. And that starts with just aligning with who you are. If there's something about yourself that maybe you're not crazy about right now, no one's perfect. It's about saying, you know what? I'm at least in this place and I recognize it and I'm aware of it and I can move. I can change this. And it's holding true to that. So today I want to give you, yes, some tools around aligning with your future self, but also in remembering that who you are right now is who you've fought to be up until this point. Number one, it's identity-based habit tracking. Instead of focusing only on goals, focus on identity. Instead of, I want to work out, say, I'm becoming someone who takes care of their body. Track habits based on who you're becoming, not just what you're achieving. Number two, the future self decision filter. Before you make a decision this week, I want you to ask, does this move me closer or further from the person that I want to become? This builds awareness fast without you kind of guilt tripping yourself or quote unquote gaslighting yourself into doing something or making a decision. Number three, daily non-negotiables. I want you to choose just about 3 to 5 habits that you commit to no matter what. Doesn't matter what the weather is, doesn't matter what happened at work, doesn't matter, how you slept or didn't sleep. In the same way that you get up every day and you brush your teeth and you shower, you know, choose 3 to 5 habits that you commit to no matter what. So maybe that's a certain amount of water a day, a certain amount of movement a day, a certain amount of reading a day, prayer or meditation, journaling, limiting screen time. Consistency matters so much more than intensity. Number 4, audit your environment. We've talked about that in the last couple weeks, and just acknowledging what your environment is and realizing how much of a heavy influence they are by your surroundings. Pay attention to that environment, to the routines, the content, the things that drain your energy, and also acknowledging the spaces that make discipline feel harder. Your environment either supports you or it fights against your growth. My book suggestion this week is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This book helps you become more aware of your thoughts, your behaviors, and the patterns shaping your life. I want you to remember that Your future self is already here. They already exist. You're not creating them from scratch. Your future self is inspired by who you are today and created by the things you do repeatedly, not the things you do occasionally, not the sometimes things, but repeatedly. Small habits become an identity. Identity becomes lifestyle. Lifestyle becomes your life. Remember that who you are today is the starting point of the person that you are still growing into, not necessarily always becoming. Acknowledge that today you are exactly where you're supposed to be to get to where you are meant to be. And always give yourself that grace and also a boss up. Get it together. Do the thing. I want to dedicate this episode to my mom. This week of this 100th episode is the first full solar return or the anniversary of her passing. This year, I have seen many things, done many things, and almost felt like I've seen things through a different set of eyes because she's no longer here. If you follow me on social media, I do talk a lot about grief. I do talk a lot about the effects of the brain and mothering without your mom. So I want to give this shout out to my mom, to the best woman I've ever known. I hope that you are as proud as ever across the universes and the galaxies, and that you see me as I once have always seen you, with so much love and pride. So thank you for listening. Come back again next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.